How's it going, guys? TFF here, doing my week 2 predictions before Thursday night's game, and I'll be picking with or against the spread. So, starting off on Thursday, you got the Washington football team versus the New York Giants. I'm going to take Washington -3. I think the Washington is significantly better team. Saquon Barkley is questionable for the game, and I think that that's going to play right into Washington's hand. They have that elite defensive line and a good defense all around, and I think that Washington's going to easily cover the spread of 3. Saints and Panthers, I'm taking New Orleans -3.5. I think that they'll easily cover the spread again. I wasn't a big fan of Carolina's offense, and New Orleans looked elite against the Packers, offensively and defensively. Davenport being out for the Saints is going to hurt their pass rush. However, they may add Bradley Roby this week to the secondary, and I think Lattimore looks elite. If they can shut down Christian McCaffrey, they should be able to win, but either way, I think they cover the spread. Bears and Bengals. I'm taking the Bengals plus 2.5. I think that Cincinnati should actually win the game pretty easily. I'm not a big fan of the Bears defense, and I think Burrow has a lot of offensive weapons, whether that be Mixon, Chase, Boyd, Higgins if he plays. I think that's a lot of offensive firepower. Although the defense is very suspect, I don't think the Bears can capitalize on that. I'm taking the Bengals. Texans and Browns, spread is 12.5. I'm going to take Houston to cover the spread, but Cleveland to win the game. I think 12.5 is a lot. I think Cleveland might actually win the AFC. They're probably going to make it to the AFC Championship, maybe against the Chiefs or the Bills, something like that. But I think 12.5 is a big spread, especially for the type of football that the Cleveland Browns play. The Texans didn't look bad at all against the Jags, but I think 12.5 is a lot. So I'm taking Cleveland to win, but Houston to cover the spread. Rams and Colts. I'm going to take Los Angeles -3.5. I think that's a great bet there. I think the Rams are the significantly better team. The Indianapolis Colts did not impress me at all in their Week 1 performance, offensively and defensively, not much. And Matthew Stafford looked like he was throwing lasers all around the field. Also with Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald on defense, I think this is an easy pick. Broncos against the Jags. I'm going to take Denver -6. The Jaguars looked lifeless in their game. Wasn't really impressed with anything. James Robinson was underutilized, and although Urban Meyer said he's going to get more utility, I don't think that's really going to change the outcome of the game. I'm taking the Denver Broncos, who looked really solid to win the game. Bills at Dolphins. I'm taking the Bills -3.5. I think that it's a good bet that the Buffalo Bills bounce back. The Miami Dolphins obviously have a solid D. Not the best Tua didn't look amazing, but he looked good enough, and I think that it's going to be a little bit of a shootout with the Bills easily winning, covering the spread 3.5. Patriots and Jets, taking the Patriots -6. I'm not really a big believer in the Jets. I didn't like what they were doing. Although Corey Davis hauled in 2 touchdown passes, I'm unsure if that'll still be the case against once again prolific New England defense. I'm taking New England to cover. San Francisco and Philly. I'll take San Francisco to win the game, but Philly to cover the 3.5 point spread. I think Philly looked amazing. They looked really good offensively. Defensively, although only allowing 3 points, I don't think it was as solid as it could be. While San Francisco has so many offensive weapons, I think the key matchup here is going to be Darius Slay versus Deebo Samuel, who had a huge week. And then if the Philadelphia Eagles can cover George Kittle, I think they have a chance at winning this game. Raiders at Steelers. I like the Raiders plus 5.5 here. I think the Raiders look fantastic. Darren Waller got a lot of love in that game. Max Crosby looked great. Derek Carr had a good game, and I think the Steelers didn't look that great against the Buffalo Bills. It was more their defense and special teams really helped them out. I'm looking at Najee Harris to get really going again. Maybe he gets a touchdown or 2 in this game against a lighter matchup. And I wasn't a big fan of Big Ben, but if he can turn it around, I think the Steelers got this game. Next, we got the Vikings and the Cardinals. I definitely like the Cardinals here, -3.5. I think that they are going to cover the spread and win pretty handily. Kyler Murray looked like an MVP caliber player. DeAndre Hopkins looked fantastic. Kirk looked great. And if Chandler Jones can create even half the amount of pressure that he did against the Titans, I think that Arizona will run away with this game pretty soon. Then you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Atlanta Falcons, 12.5 spread, and I think that Tampa Bay will cover the 12.5. Nothing that I saw out of the Atlanta Falcons was really positive. I didn't really like their D was not that great at all. It was pretty horrific, actually. If the Falcons can get Mike Davis involved a little bit more, I think that they can do fine. And obviously, Calvin Ridley needs to have a big game for anything to happen. But the Tampa Bay defense is fantastic, and I don't think that the Falcons will be able to get anything going against that D. Titans and Seahawks. I'm taking the Seahawks to cover 5.5. I definitely believe in Russell Wilson, especially at the beginning of the season where he always have MVP caliber performances, and I think Metcalf is also going to have a good game. I think this is a good matchup for the Seahawks, especially since the Titans look so lifeless. If the Titans can get going, then it'll be a very close barn burner. However, I don't see that happening this week against Seattle. Cowboys and Chargers. I'm taking Dallas plus 3.5. I think they're gonna win the game because their offense is so prolific. Their defense is quite poor, and Demarcus Lawrence is probably up for the season now. However, what the Chargers did on against the football team last weekend, I wasn't a huge fan of, and I definitely think that this is going to be a shootout with the Cowboys taking the victory. Chiefs and Ravens, which is really one of the feature games of the week. I'm going to take Kansas City minus 3.5. Baltimore did not look fantastic offensively. Defensively, they looked pretty good, but I still think that the Kansas City Chiefs offense is going to really annihilate the Baltimore defense, and then Baltimore will have to play catch up, which doesn't really suit them as they like to run the ball, control the game, and when they have to start slinging the rock, I think that's when they run into some issues. So I think Kansas City will look to run away with the game early on, and I think that they'll cover the 3.5. And the last game of the week, Lions and Packers, 11-point spread. I'm taking Detroit to cover the spread, although Green Bay Packers are winning. I think the Packers are going to come back firing hot. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to look like his normal self. Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones will also produce. However, I think the 11-point spread is a little bit much. Hawkinson looked good last week for the Lions. Swift looked great. Goff looked good in spaces. With Okuda being out for the season, it looks like I'm not sure how good that Detroit Lions defense is, but I do think that they can cover the spread just with some kind of offensive firepower. So I think that they'll cover the spread, but I think Green Bay wins the game. Thank you very much. TFF out. Like and subscribe.